before we dive into the individual sports, what do you guys have going over there as far as fundraising and some plans for facilities?
Well, we've been fortunate. We've our donors have really helped us with two specific projects, and they'll both, from what I'm told or what we're estimating is they'll go before our regents for approval sometime this fall. But an indoor practice facility, we currently have a bubble that was kind of a quasi-temporary solution, so a permanent structure. And then we need to do some renovations to our student athlete center, our Boulder Athletic Complex, and it's just dated. And then we need more academic space, more support for our mental health specialists, nutrition, strength and conditioning, so really a modernization of our main athletic building. And really the next big ticket item is we're going to start a feasibility study for what the next phase of basketball needs to be, whether that's renovating the existing Coliseum or in Beasley, or is it building a new building? So we'll start that feasibility study. We're in a fortunate place. We got two really good coaches that have done some extraordinary things in a relatively short period of time, and I think the energy level's up for basketball. And at one time Beasley was one of the best arenas of its kind in the late 70s, early 80s, even hosted an NCAA regional at one point, and concerts from entertainment legends from all over the world. But those days are long gone, and we need a long-term solution. So we're going to begin that study to figure out what that is for us.
Well, so at this point, after you've gotten through the last couple of years, which has been tough on all the universities, do you feel like you're kind of coming out the other side where you can start planning and fundraising and doing these great things for the university?
Well, I think the X factor right now is, and I'm on the NCAA Transformation Committee. So our business model has changed, has changed, and is going to change significantly because of a Supreme Court ruling next summer. So right now, for the fundraising piece, we have to keep moving forward on. But I think it's been very, very well talked about in the college athletics world is the impact of name, image, and likeness, our ability to govern ourselves. There's so many issues swirling in around college athletics that we really got to wrap our mind around and try to figure out how we govern ourselves going forward.
What's your opinion about the NIL? Because it seems like some of the coaches and some administrators are saying, you've kind of let it out of the bag now. We just don't know how far this is going to go and how it's going to affect college athletics long term.
Well, it's the right thing for our student athletes. The challenge is, and this starts since the beginning of college sport, is the inducement and tampering piece is what has made it challenging. So the rules state you cannot use it as an inducement. I can't call you up and say, hey, if you come to our university, we have X, Y, and Z for you. But that is happening, and the NCAA unfortunately stopped enforcing this specific rule, or decided not to enforce the rule for a period of time. So it is unsettling right now because different schools, some schools are following the rules, some schools aren't. Some schools have different interpretations of the rules. The other thing is there's no national standard. Us in the state of Washington, we don't have a state law. Some may think it's to our advantage, some may not. We're fortunate that we have state representatives in Congress that are senior members in specific committees that have listened to us and listened to our friends at University of Washington to talk about the importance of a federal bill. But that's way down the road because there's obviously a lot more important things going on in this country right now. But it's a challenge because it's 50 different states with 50 different rules, and we're all competing for a specific type of talent at the Division I level at all these different sports, and it's just another stressor in the system that there isn't an answer for right now.
Being in Pullman, there was some reports that some of the basketball players were going to enter the transfer portal so they could get those NIL opportunities somewhere else. Do you feel like Washington State's at a bit of a disadvantage in that role?
No, I mean we have an NIL. I mean I wouldn't say we're no different than everyone else in the country. I think there's 350 Division I men's basketball programs. I think over 1,400 kids are in the portal. So I mean it's over 4 kids per school that are heading into the portal. So we're no different than every other school. And student athletes have the right to put themselves into the portal. Now in today's day and age, they're trying to see what the market value they have is, and that's a unique conversation to have. And it's I heard one of our coaches say it at our Pac-12 meetings a couple weeks ago in Phoenix. It's in college basketball specifically, you're not building programs anymore. You're building rosters. Our coach was effectively a general manager he's still a general manager right now because of the fluidity of our roster, and it's where college basketball is at today. And it's one of those things that we're going to have to all these issues we just have to continue to adapt to. I mean, we're fortunate we have really, really smart, creative, strategic coaches, but at the end of the day, I mean, this is the way of the world right now.
I like the recent news that the Pac-12 football conference was going to have the top 2 teams compete for the conference championship instead of division winners. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'll be interested to see how much of an impact it makes, because the way I looked at who's getting to the college football playoff, the Pac-12 unfortunately has had parity. And in those other leagues, you have one team that is head and shoulders better than everybody else. I also recognize that where we're at as a conference, status quo is the worst thing we could do. So that's why we voted for elimination of the divisions and get the 2 teams with the best conference record into the champ game. We have to do something different. Your football is judged upon how many teams, if you can get a team to the college football playoff. Hopefully this does make some bit of a difference strategically at the end of the year if we have 2 teams high enough. So I'm ecstatic that we have a different type of leadership coming out of the Pac-12 in which we're focused on these issues and not just waiting to see what outcomes are. And like I said, status quo is the worst thing we could do as a conference, and I'm glad we're trying something different.
Yeah, I think as a fan, because I'm always, most of us are football fans. We do our jobs, but I think as a fan, I love what they're doing to it. But when you look at the Pac-12, you mentioned you like the direction it's headed. It's kind of like long overdue, where you kind of have to constantly reinvent yourself as a conference and evolve.
Well, I think also too, it's the college athletics has changed significantly. Hindsight's always 20/20, but our current TV deal, which still has a couple years left, really put us behind the 8 ball. Exposure does matter. For us not to have partnered with an ESPN or a Fox made a difference in where the recruiting landscape has changed. There was a time and a place. I mean, there's no secret since the beginning of football, the best footprint for quarterbacks has always been the West Coast. And all the you look across the teams in the playoffs, I think 3 of the 4 this year had starting quarterbacks all from the West Coast. So, and there was a time and a place where those young people would have picked a Washington State, a Pac-12 school to go to college. So, the times have changed. We have to adapt to it. There's a handful of new coaches in our league. I know our league. I know we've always been focused on football in our league. We were focused on all of our sports, but it is important for the brand of the league and where we're headed to win at all the sports. But football is held in a different light in this country, and we recognize that.
How about financially, now the pandemic is, we're at the back end of the pandemic. How has that affected Washington State, and where are you guys now? Because kids are getting 6 years and, things like that.
Well, I think I would say probably the best sign for us is indicative in the performance of our student athletes. Like with all everything that happened from the start of the pandemic, and we were probably caught in it more than others because we unfortunately had to separate from some employees that didn't want to follow state policy. But you come out of it, and I tell everyone it's nice to go to the Pac-12 meetings as a school that has a bowl team, and you're with your football coach, your men's basketball coach, your women's basketball coach, and I don't know if it's the first time in Washington State history, but we went bowl, postseason, and postseason for all three programs, and all the way from our volleyball team is historically great and continues to be great. Our women's soccer team has been historically great and continues to be great. Heck, we even had our first All-American in women's tennis. So all of our teams are performing at such a high level. I think that's probably the most indicative thing of where we're at. Every organization in this country was tested during the pandemic. Some went away, some companies have gone away, but fortunately for us, based on the foundation that has been put at Washington State, and that predates me, our student athletes continue to thrive, and we're not going to rest on our laurels. We know there's a lot that's changing. This NIL piece is a big piece of what we'll continue to try to figure out and try to make sure we put our student athletes in the best position for. But man, we got a pretty incredible group of coaches that continue to recruit at a high level, and man, these student athletes continue to just do amazing things.
Well, I mean, it's a credit to you too, Pat. I mean, because the coaches don't get there unless they go through you, and you've had the 3 you talked about. You put them in place. That's tremendous. Yeah, how difficult is it to find talent at that level and people that want to come? It's got to be a special breed that comes to Pullman.
Yeah, and I think it's alignment of values, and then like in our values, we don't really care about the credit piece. So it's like all the credit goes to our student athletes, and just finding the right people that fit. Fit matters wherever you go, and it's why people want to put in some roots. And we feel like we found, right now where we sit, we're actually pretty stable in our coaching staff with a bunch of people that profile really well in terms of just championship DNA, just winners. People that want to put in roots at Washington State and want to make a difference through that institution. So there's no easy way to do it. I mean, coach it's always a little bit of a 50-50 shot when you hire a new coach. But at I-12, it starts with leadership too. We have one of the most respected presidents in all of the NCAA in Kirk Schultz, and we have a new chancellor who's for our Pullman campus, Elizabeth Chilton, who's pro athletics. So I think when you talk about when you got leadership and you got incredible student athletes that just have this really unique experience in Pullman. It's probably even more impactful because of the small community that we're in during these times. That it's such a relationship place. I think you see some of the advantages we may have coming out of where the world's at today.